So, the fluid in the bottom that you just saw comes in these little packets. Obviously it's smaller because it's a concentrate. So what happens is that I pump the water into the machine and it pumps it into this bag to create a solution that matches similarly to the blood minus the toxins that it's taking out. You can see the chemical formula here on it. And that is what's inside this bag and the chemicals that are there. So we could assume that some of these are similar to what's in your blood, except that these are the ones we want to keep. So this is my dialysis machine. The bottom half is what we call dialysate down here, and this whole silver thing is filled with fluid that travels up through this tube into here, and it comes through on the outside of this. On the inside, going the opposite direction, is blood. These white tubes are the membrane that separates the blood and the dialysate, and osmosis happens between it. Let's see if I can get a closer look for you. You can see the strands. Look like little hairs. Alright, now if you're queasy, please turn away because I'm going to insert the needles into my arm to now begin dialysis. So the first thing I'll do is I'll put on the mask. Because I'll be accessing my fistula directly, any breathing on the site could risk infection, and that's why I wear a mask. At the end of treatment, when I'm taking the needles out, there's no risk of infection from breathing on the site because you're removing. And I'll disinfect my hands. During the disinfection, you need to allow the alcohol to completely dry from your hands to complete disinfection. So I'll remove the pads that have been soaked in Accept. And now we begin the first stage of cleaning the sites. A part of that first stage of cleaning is with the needles come what are called picks. Now picks are used to remove scabs and any larger particulates on the site of access. We now remove the needles from their sterile packaging. Now, at this time we can lay them on the clean surface, this pad, because there is a cap on the needles. I'll now attach a tourniquet to my arm. This is to stabilize the fistula and make it easier to access. As you can now see, this is what we call the flash, where a small amount of blood will enter into the tube after you have accessed the site. This is because of the high pressure inside. I'll now attach tape to prevent the needle from removing itself while accessing the other site. And I will also allow the blood to fill the tube so that it does not clot. Because without it being filled, the blood is exposed to air, which will cause clotting. I'll now access the venous site. Alright, again you can see the flash. We'll attach tape. Fill the tube. Alright. Now that we've accessed it, we can now remove the tourniquet. Now, this is heparin, 4 milliliters. I will now flush the arterial line with the 4 milliliters of heparin. Now, if you were to receive treatment in a center, the heparin would be slowly inserted throughout the treatment using the dialysis machine. However, because of home treatment, I do not have that, and so we just flush it all at the very beginning. We do 3 pulls and pushes to make sure that it is all in my system and not inside the tube, because what's inside this tube will immediately exit into the machine after I start it. Now, I'll take the arterial line and I will attach it to the arterial axis. And I will do the same with the venous line to the venous axis. Now that all the lines are connected, we will unclamp all the access lines as well as the dialysate and drain line over here. Once all the lines are open, we can now begin treatment. Once treatment is begun, we can finish securing the access points. To do that, we first need to cover them to keep them from having any pathogens exposed to them. So we will put a piece of gauze and tape over. Now that they are covered, I can remove my mask and glove. And we can begin fully securing them. Now, for the securing tape, we will put it upside down, so the sticky side is up underneath the tube. And then we'll take these tails and we'll wrap them around to hold them, to prevent them from going out, from being removed accidentally. Now we do this for each needle. Now, because the needles have such high pressure, they need to stay at the center of the fistula or arterial vein. So we will secure them higher so that they do not move from left to right and obstruct those pressures or that pumping inside the vein. And that is all the securing we will do. In the top left-hand corner, you'll notice some numbers. That is the time remaining. That is the venous pressure. That is the pressure of the dialysate. And that is the arterial line pressure. In the number just below that, next to the green arrows, that is liters per hour of dialysate that will flow. And under that is liters per hour of toxins removed, or water removed from my system. And under that is the pressure of milliliters per minute of blood that is going through the machine. Not the pressure, the volume of blood going through the machine. Now that we've taken the initial readings, we will go ahead and increase the pump. If you would have noticed before, the time remaining was 10.5 hours at this speed of dialysate. So in order to increase the dialysate speed, we also need to increase the amount of blood being pumped through the machine. So we'll go ahead and increase that to 450. And then we'll increase the dialysate to its maximum level to complete the treatment as fast as possible. So our current maximum level is 10.3. However, that is because we are only taking off half a liter per hour. If we increase the amount of fluid being taken off, we would decrease the amount of dialysate able to flow through at a time. Now we will go through how the dialysate and blood is traveling through the tubes. Now if you'll come down here, you can see that this green line comes from the bag below. So the dialysate is coming through this green line into the machine. It then comes through this tube and then out this yellow line into the drain. Now the blood travels from the arterial line in through here up through this line here, through the back of this tube, down this line, back into the top, through there, up through the venous line, into this axis.